Hello and welcome. I guess we're going to make this a new series now. This is going to be Cooking with Alliah, episode 1. I figured I'd just start documenting what I do because now that Cody has a new position, he's not around to help me meal prep as much anymore because I typically do it when he's working. That's just how the weeks fall. So now I guess I'm going to be doing Cooking with Alliah. And what I like to do, because we don't have much time during the week when we're working, is I like to have everything ready for about 4 to 5 days. And then, I'll have a day off, and then that's when we meal prep again for the next 4 to 5 days. Something that I'm going to start with first, because I like to just have this incorporated into our meals. Not that I try to hit all the 5 food groups or whatever. I love fruit. And I feel better about myself if I incorporate some sort of fruit into our diet. So we do have bananas that we incorporate into our breakfast, like on the side. I have oranges that I'll be cutting up right now. And then I also have been on this like cantaloupe kick for a minute. Not that I haven't had cantaloupe before, but I don't know. I like to have this for breakfast, and sometimes I'll take some for lunch when I'm at work. And I'll eat it as my dessert because it's not overly sweet, but it like satisfies that sweet craving for me. So let me go ahead and cut this up. I asked like offline, why we meal prep, because we did used to go to the gym all the time. Actually, before that, I would go to the gym all the time with either my brothers or my sister. And, I was doing this like every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And it just became a part of my lifestyle because it helped me kind of escape and get into a better headspace than where I was when I wasn't at the gym. So, and that had just gone on for a while. So I was like actively going to the gym all the time. I was single, so I can go whenever I wanted. I would go after work. If I couldn't sleep, I would go at like 2 in the morning. So the gym was always like a big part of, I don't know, maybe the past like 4 or 5 years of my life. I was always active for the most part. I grew up playing soccer since I was 8 all the way through high school. I played for the high school team, and I played for like outside teams in different cities. And then I was also in bands and marching bands, so I have like 2 extracurriculars going on at the same time at sometimes. So I've always been like an active person. And my dad did used to bodybuild, like not professionally, but he did bodybuild on the side. So while we were growing up, he kind of was showing us these healthy eating habits, and he would always make us protein shakes and stuff. So I feel like I've learned, how to eat because of him, because he'd be like, hey, like you don't want to eat this before we play a game because it's going to be too heavy for you, or make sure that you load up on carbs after your game and stuff because you need to replenish your nutrients that you lost. So that's why I've been like mindful, and I kind of know how to take care of myself. Recently, me and Cody haven't been going to the gym because of, again, his new schedule and everything. We need to try to find a way for us to go, because right now Cody's schedule is 4 p.m. to midnight, and right now we only have 1 car. So unfortunately, when I also work, it'll be a weird schedule where I get up at a certain time and I have to come home and then shower, and then depending on what time I get off, it gives me like an hour, then I have to go back and pick up Cody. Otherwise, if it's a day where I get off a little bit earlier, then I'll have more time in between. But then it's also like taking into consideration like who has the car at the time. So we kind of have to work on a schedule where we can get back into going to the gym. Hopefully in the very near future. We are still paying for our membership, so it just kind of sucks because they're going to waste. But we also like to take our protein and pre-workout. So I have all of that up there on the fridge just waiting for me, like reminding me like, dude, you got to get your butt back into this. Thankfully, because I've been consistent with meal prepping. Of course, you see we go to Disney and we eat out, but that's like once every week or once or twice every week sometimes. But for the most part, we eat at home, like whatever I cook. and I'll show you guys once we get into it more what we eat. I'm not somebody that always looks at the scale. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I want to weigh a certain amount, but your body, you know, I'm not a nutritionist, but your body carries weight different for different body types. Obviously, you know, muscle and fat, you know, weigh two different things. So right now my current weight is what I weighed when we were going to the gym consistently and I was building muscle. But because I've been eating healthy, I've noticed that my muscles have lost their tone, but I haven't gained any additional weight, thankfully, because I've been keeping it so clean in what I'm eating. So that's a plus. Still a lot that I can work on, but I'll get there when I get there, because I was in like tip-top shape before Cody. But as you know, many of you that are in relationships, I'm not blaming him. By all means, I'm not blaming him, but you do get relationship weight sometimes if you're not super, like somebody that's super mindful of your fitness and stuff like that. So whatever, it happens. I know that I can still bounce back and get back into that. So we'll get there when we get there. Sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into like a little therapy session, but I just feel like with the Imagination Station, obviously I love doing that channel with him, but it's not, it never dives in too deeply into what we're going through personally. So I feel like this is an opportunity now for you guys to learn a little bit more about me. I went ahead and scraped these out. Now I'm going to cut them into cubes, and I just store them in a container and I grab them as I need them throughout the week or throughout the day. Another thing I wanted to bring up is I am by no means a professional chef. I kind of got a love for cooking when I was in college. I was dating somebody at the time that also really liked Chef Gordon Ramsay. I know he's a very public person. So in college I was dating somebody that was kind of obsessed with Gordon Ramsay. So I would watch a lot of MasterChef and Kitchen Nightmares and what else? Hell's Kitchen, things like that. And so slowly I started watching some more of his YouTube videos and things like that, and eventually went to go eat at a few of his restaurants, and I was like, I really like, obviously I really like food, but I was intrigued in making food, and I've had people say good things about it, so I was like, oh, maybe I can actually cook. And that's not to say that my mom never taught me how to cook. She just showed us how to make Mexican food, and as a Mexicana and a Latina myself, I know I'm gonna get so judged and people are probably gonna say I'm really whitewashed, but I'm not the biggest fan of Mexican food. Obviously there's certain Mexican snacks and foods that I like, but I'm not the biggest fan of Mexican food. To me it's just very greasy, and that's fine. If you're into that, you're into that, but I try to stay away from grease, especially because we have to be mindful again that, especially for Latinos, you have to watch out with high sodium and high cholesterol and things like that. And yeah, I noticed that once I started eating cleaner, when I did put bad food into my body, I didn't feel as good. So yeah, I just try to eat better, eat clean. Let me know down in the comments though, what was the first thing that you guys, if you cook, what was the first thing that you guys learned to cook that you mastered? What is your dish? Because when I first started cooking, I am a breakfast person for sure. And one of the things that I learned very early on in my cooking career is how to make eggs Benedict with hollandaise sauce and everything. So that is the first thing that I feel my family was wow, this is really good. I'm yep, I know. I don't try to be cocky, but yep, I know. So now it's even funny because my sister will crave eggs Benedict, and I feel I really introduced her to eggs Benedict. So now when she goes places, she's very critical. of the way they taste, and she's like, like this could be better, or this isn't as good as yours. And I'm like, I'm glad I gave you some kind of standard. Alrighty, fruits chopped up. I do have another cantaloupe in the fridge and 2 more oranges left, but we'll save that for when these are empty. Now it's time to move on to the main course. Alrighty, so on the menu today is going to be carne asada. I picked this up from Sprouts. Sprouts, if you want to sponsor me, that would be awesome. I don't even know if you'll ever see this video, but I love Sprouts. My sister used to work for Sprouts, so that's kind of how I got introduced more into Sprouts. But here in Brea, we have one so close by, so I really love their produce and their meats. Everything is always so fresh. So I picked up, how many pounds did I get? 2 pounds of carne asada. I think it's already marinated. Let me see. If not, we got another thing to do. Oh, good, it is. So it's already marinated. Makes your job so easy if you buy your meats from Sprouts. Their marinades are all very good all the time. We always get their citrus herb chicken breast as well. I actually have that in the freezer for later on in the week. But yeah, highly suggest Sprouts. I'm going to throw this onto the pan right now, and then I'm going to prepare all the fixings on the side. And then we're also going to do, I think I'm going to do the orange Mexican rice and maybe some beans. While I have the meat heating, so while I have the pan heating up, I'm going to chop up some onion and cilantro because me and Cody are huge onion, cilantro, lemon people. I'm going to just have it on the side, so if he ever wants to throw it on his like eggs in the morning, I guess, or whatever he wants to add it to, it'll be there and ready for him. I'm also going to make some pickled red onions, and the way I pickle them is just simply with lemon, salt, and pepper. I learned this from one of my roommates in college, so I have never gone back since having them this way. So let's get into it. So here I have my pan. It's already been heating up. I'm going to go ahead and get my meat and just throw it straight into the pan. Just pop that. There's some big pieces, Jesus. Oh, it smells so good. And then while that's going, I'm gonna just get into this onion and dice it. Take a hold of Alliah's. Don't get nervous, I promise I'm good. So once I have it all chopped up nice and fine, oh sheesh, just gonna throw it into the container. Again, Cody can use this for whatever he wants. This man will eat onions just like that too, pretty much. Ready, next we're gonna cut up some cilantro. And all you want to do is kind of fold it onto itself. Get all the stems in there. And then just go ham. Ooh. Done. Add it to the container. I'm just gonna mix this around so that it's perfectly incorporated, and then throw it in the fridge and it'll be there for whatever he needs. So we're multitasking here. The meat's getting a nice sear on it. We're gonna go ahead and flip it. Oh yeah. Perfect. And now to let this side cook. Pickled onions are easier because it's literally pickles. The pickled onions are easier because it's literally onion, lemon, or lime. Sorry, I call limes and lemons the same thing. And then salt and pepper. So let's make them. You're gonna want to just cut this. Well, first of all, take this off, but then cut them into like thin slices. And I guess you can also do this with white onion. I just think it tastes better with red onion because it's less potent. So you take off the outside layers. And then you're just going to cut it in half. And then throw it into a container. You have everything in the container. You're going to throw your salt and pepper in. You can throw a generous amount. It'll be this. It'll end up getting distributed evenly with the lemon, so. Lots of seasoning. Okay. And then I have really bad hands because of all the typing I do at work. So I'm already developing carpal tunnel. I'm going to use the cheating lemon squeezer and squeeze lemon into my limes. Alrighty, so once you have all the lemon in there, it'll look something like this. And I'd like to just put a lid on it, give it a good little shake to incorporate all that flavor. And then you're just gonna like let it sit in the fridge and let it do its thing. Now time to finish the meat. So I went ahead and pulled the meat off the pan. Obviously it would probably be more charred if I did it on a grill, but one, I can't have a grill here at this apartment complex. Two, they have some, but they're out by the pool, and I'm not going to walk all the way to the pool at 9:30 at night to do that. So we're just going to have to deal with this and cut it up into little pieces. I'm just going to take my knife and start cutting this into strips. That's what we'd like to see. Yummy. And then of course my excuse is I gotta take a taste test to make sure it's not poison or anything, so. Peppery, lemony, You must use like some garlic powder. I don't know if they use raw garlic, but really good. Let's finish up the other piece. Okay, don't judge me, but for the beans, I'm gonna cheat because I'm not about to boil some beans and then mash them up and stuff. So I'm just gonna use the can of beans. And what I like to do is I like to get a pan and just put about like a tablespoon of oil in there and then throw the beans in. And this pan has been getting hot for a minute, so I'm gonna do this very carefully. So this is what the beans will look like once they're done. They're very like soft, even though they made a mess all over my stove, but they're like creamy. So now I'm gonna portion this out. Alrighty, home stretch of this cooking adventure. So meat's done, beans are done. Time to do my mom's recipe for orange rice. And I'll go ahead and probably put it right here as well on the screen. But what the recipe calls for is 1 cup of white rice, 2 cups of water, 2 garlic cloves. I'm probably gonna end up doing more. A quarter of a white onion, half a can of tomato sauce, 2 spoonfuls of chicken bouillon, and then of course garlic powder and onion powder. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse out my rice first, and then of course I messed up in chopping up that whole white onion earlier and mixing it with the cilantro because I forgot that I needed white onion for this. So now we're going to use red onion and see how it comes out. Alrighty, so I measured out a cup of rice, and then this is rinse with cold water until it runs clear. So I'm just going to rinse this in my sink really quick. So this is what you don't want it to look like. And I already minced up my garlic and my onion, so that's ready for me to go. You want all your ingredients at the ready because when it's time to start mixing everything, it's like pretty quick. Ready, so we're gonna go ahead to the same pan that we did the carne asada in earlier. I went ahead and washed it. You're gonna put 2 tablespoons of oil in here to get hot, and then we're gonna throw in the rice. So turn this on medium heat. And I guess I'll finish my vegetable oil. Didn't have very much left. And add my olive oil. Cook the pan. Ready, now that that's getting nice and hot, we're gonna brown our rice and the onion. And just keep mixing them and then until they get nice and brown. Okay, so this is the part that'll start speeding up. So if you can see in here, the rice is already starting to brown. Our next step is to throw in the minced garlic. So let's do that. Garlic in. And then she didn't give measurements for this part, but she says incorporate onion powder and the garlic powder. So I'm just gonna measure with what feels right. And then mix that in as well. And then this is the part that it says to do quickly. So it says to mix in half a can of tomato sauce and 2 cups of water. And it says do this quickly. So here we go. It's about half a can of tomato sauce and 2 cups of water. Next it says to add 2 spoonfuls of chicken bouillon. This is chicken bouillon, if you don't know, or people call it Nor. 2 spoonfuls, 1, 2. And give it a taste to see how it tastes. Then it says once it starts to boil, you're going to turn down the heat and cover it and let it cook for 20 minutes without touching it. So it's already boiling for me. Put the spoon down. So I'm going to put this on low on my stove. And then I don't have a lid, so I'm going to use foil. And cover that and let it do its thing. Okay, the timer just went off, so it says turn off the heat. Let it sit for 5 minutes without touching it so it cools down, and then we're gonna fluff it with a fork. Alrighty, so took it off the heat. It's time to very carefully, because I don't want to stretch the pan, fluff it with the fork. Yeah, and there you go. My mom's Mexican orange rice. Also as a bonus, I went ahead and made some Halloween cookies because why not? If you guys enjoyed cooking with Alliah, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what else you want to see me cook, or if you want to keep seeing me cook. But yeah, let me show you the final meal preps all said and done, and then I'll let you guys go. Alrighty, so here is the final meal prep. Beans, the rice that got a little bit crispy, and the meat. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I hope you all have a good day, night, whatever part of the world you're watching this. Have a good one, guys.